my God. Well, hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hola.
Hello, world. Is that what that was the first thing I ever learned in computer programming is hello, world, how to program it. Well, see, the screen might look a little bit different to all of our viewers that are going to be joining us. We are so happy to have you guys here. Amber is very, very under the weather, so we're here to take over and be utter chaos. You see, Robert is our chaos coordinator. It's great. That's what happens when you retire, Robert, as you become the chaos coordinator again. And then later we should be joined by Ray, who is out at his theater waiting for them to make the announcement. But welcome to you guys. Welcome to our viewers to the Broadway Fan Club podcast.
Great to be here.
Hello.
So if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, Casey, we'll start with you and then we'll end with Robert. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me. Hi, everyone. I'm Casey, and I am in Las Vegas, Nevada. And anything else?
Yes. How did you find out about how much do you love me?
I love Heather so much.
Yeah.
So my favorite
drink at the bar. No,
my favorite Broadway show is Wicked and Rent. I have to say both because Rent was like the first like Broadway that I can remember seeing. Mm-hmm. I saw Music Man when I was like 9, but I don't remember it. So
that's okay. Music Man is one of those musicals. I really wanted to see it. And then I did not want to stand online at 4:00 in the morning when everyone was rushing it when Sutton and Hugh were in it. So I was like, I will just not see it.
I would have loved to have seen them in that, but
right.
Not much you can do.
That's okay. That's all right. All right. Moving on to Zev and Sebastian.
Hi, I'm Zev.
I'm Sebastian. I've been a theater fan pretty much since I was allowed into a Broadway theater. I guess that's just the luck of having a family member work in the theaters. So I've been seeing shows my whole life. I can't give you one.
Okay. We'll touch on the family member for a hot minute. So you guys are in PA. Yes. And you've got a lovely family member. I'll let you tell your story.
Yes. My aunt has worked inside the Broadway theaters for my vast majority of my life. Bartending, headsets. She's also worked with Broadway Cares. I believe she said for like 40 years.
If they've needed it, she's done it.
Pretty much.
And that's the aunt that a couple of months ago I talked about on the show about. She has the costume designer from Phantom of the Opera created a mask for her to go to a wedding. Like this woman has.
Yes, she did. Yes, she has. She got me and my family Donny Osmond's loincloth and boots from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which we still have to this day.
Didn't you say you had to like ask him how it comes undone?
Yes, it was Velcro, and we took us. No one could figure it out. It was embarrassing. But Donny Osmond was just like, "Oh, it doesn't fit," and we're like,
Oh, jeez.
Guess you gained some weight, Donny, huh?
Oh my God. And Zev, tell everybody how you got involved besides Sebastian.
Well, I'm kind of the other end of the spectrum. I started my theater travels about 3 years ago now.
It took him kicking and screaming.
So I'm pretty.
It's true, but he likes it now.
I'm pretty much the archetype of my boyfriend is very into theater, and but luckily I found that I really love it as well.
What was the show that made you understand theater magic?
Hedwig and the Angry Inch was the first show that I really got it. That one just I honestly felt the difference there between seeing something on a big screen or a TV versus actual live magic with the whole audience's spirit.
Who was your first Hedwig?
Some random Australian for him.
Yeah.
It was a touring cast in
Olympia, Washington. In, I want to say 2021.
Okay.
And
He was excellent, though.
Yeah, that show holds a very special place for me because
Me
that
too.
I really became a fan of this.
I was listening to Hedwig while I was in the casino, and I was just jamming out. And I will say that Brian Nash even played like a Hedwig medley, and like all of the older people at the piano bar had no idea what was going on. And I was like,
That's appropriate.
And what about you, Robert? What about you?
Oh, well, I didn't really see shows until I got into college, and
Okay.
then was in a couple of one-act plays, and then when I got to San Antonio College, I was speech, I was communications major the whole way, and I did forensics and stuff, and we had a meeting. I just got into Trinity University for 1 year and couldn't afford it anymore, so I went to San Antonio College. And we had a meeting of the speech squad, and there were only 4 people there, including my best friend of 40 some odd years.
Oh, wow.
And so there were only 4 people, and I got really discouraged because I had just come from Trinity University, which was really cool. So I said, man, well, there's a play auditioning. I'm going to just audition for this play. And I got cast as Gayev in The Cherry Orchard. Which,
that's a great show.
out of the blue, I'm like, and all the people there were like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" You know, they were all kind of established, and here's this newbie coming in. And then I went to Southwest Texas State after that, and I wasn't able to do any theater because I was working full time at night and going to school all day, so I couldn't be in any shows. Then I moved to Austin. And at 28, I discovered, I said, hey, listen, I don't have anything to do. I'll join this choir. So I joined a community choir, and I didn't start singing until I was 28.
Okay.
And then from
you
there.
have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of people missed out. I don't know if, we were all saying
I didn't think I heard his voice.
On the second stage tour, when the girl was calling people up, if they were like, celebrating something, Robert got out there and just started belting, and I was like, "Is Brian Stokes Mitchell in here?"
It was Hallelujah, which is my go-to song. I've won several contests with that song, and I'm like, I'll just do one verse, and I wasn't doing well.
Beautiful.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Can I put you on the spot? I want to hear this now.
Right?
I know.
You want to hear Hallelujah?
Sure.
Yes.
Sing us that verse. Everybody prepare themselves.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? And it goes like this: the 4th, the 5th, the minor fall, the major lift, a baffled king composing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Woo! That was awesome.
I love that you chose that song because
I love
use
that song.
I use that song all the time to demonstrate to Zev when you need to have the real intensity in your voice versus when you need to lay off of it.
Yeah. Well, the ending is yeah.
Yeah.
I get real emotional at the ending because it's a very personal song to me, and yeah. So I always thought it was a beautiful song. So I just wanted my go-to.
Thank you for letting Sebastian put you on the spot.
Thank you.
And this is what our entire week was like, everybody.
It was.
It was. Well, it was so funny because, to kind of give everyone the dynamic here, hold on, as I shared, I'm just going to share one more time, and there we go. Okay, phone is down. Look at me focusing. Still dealing with a concussion, still dealing with an inner ear weird infection thing, and like screaming tinnitus. So last year's cruise, I had met Robert briefly, and we've kind of kept in touch a little bit through the alumni group. And Sebastian and I meet up maybe about once every other month visiting. And I call him and Zev probably at least once a week to like vent or talk as they're taking care of puppies because they own a puppy and I guess like a pet service, right?
Dog walking and pet sitting. Yep.
No discrimination against animals. That's fine.
They're all adorable.
And then Casey and I came across each other and created a Discord channel for the Broadway fan club. Or not for Broadway, geez, listen to my voice. For the Broadway Cruise. There we go. Those are the words that I wanted to have come out. And Casey would talk and be like, oh my God, this was so much fun. And like, guys, and wait till you meet Ray. Ray hopefully will join us, knock on wood, before the end of the show. But like, we all came together essentially from the first moment we sat into the terminal.
It's true.
It's true. We literally sat in our group, Casey excluded. I think you're off with your mom, Fern, who's delightful. And we sat with Sebastian's dad and his girlfriend, and
Baxter.
And Baxter was there. Now everybody, Baxter is Robert's. Robert, how would you describe Baxter?
No, Baxter is my boss. He he takes pictures with all the stars. I mean, as many as will take pictures. He is famous. People will come up, Baxter. Yeah, so he's yeah.
He's also like 12 inches tall.
Yes, he's only 12 inches tall. He's a little conscientious about that, but it's okay. He has an out sister every day, and he was mad at me because I actually bought him a diva outfit.
And he was going to left it at home.
I left it home. Yeah, I have to find it.
That's okay, because I think he would have won the Divas costume contest.
Probably and then would have.
I would not have won the Divas costume.
Yes.
I still can't get over that. Like, it's like it happened. And then I was looking back. So Zev was like being paparazzi, which was amazing because there were so many fun photos. It's like me, like very open mouth laughing. Oh, hey, Cheyenne. Like open mouth laughing, which is I think the photo I used with of Bob Mackie saying he just wanted to take his brain and put it in my body so that he can live on. But I'm just like, if nobody, like, you guys were there from every single moment, and it was so nice to have this great support system, because if we wanted to be like alone and everyone like leave us the hell alone, we could like just go to our stateroom. But like, I just felt like it was such a good camaraderie. Like, nobody fought with anybody. You know, I knew that we would go meet up at this and have breakfast or lunch, or like when I got sick, you guys were like on guard. But we could go to shows and like we could all look at each other and be like, you guys want to leave out of here, right? Okay, let's go.
Are you bored? Because I'm bored.
Yeah, this is a little bit not the topic I want to be going over right now, or like, whoa, this is incredible, let's stay. So it was really fun because everyone was like very much the same mindset. So it was really cool to like not feel necessarily alone, but like not responsible to anybody because we were all just kind of there. Like, we wanted to spend time together.
Oh yeah. I think the
community. You guys are stuck. But the week kind of started off, it was the terminal, and then the night before was like massive flooding in Miami. And I know, Robert, you said your flight kind of got messy, right?
Well, the flight didn't get messy. I arrived early and I couldn't check into my B&B until 4 in the afternoon. Right. So I think
Ray's flight got canceled. You couldn't get in.
Yeah, so I was at the airport for 7 hours. But then it rained when I got to the B&B, and I didn't know how to get in. I'm like, I'm getting wet.
And then Sebastian and Zeph were like more towards South Beach, and like a light pole.
A whole light pole came flying down the street. Yes,
that's scary. As how
and it stayed lit. That was the impressive part.
And smoking. You said it was smoking.
Yeah,
we made a run for it at that point because the water was getting into the building.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes, let's stand in water with electrical stuff. And Casey, did you have like a night before story?
So me and my mom we took the red eye from Vegas Saturday night. So we got into Miami in the morning before it started raining, before everything happened. But we went to our hotel because our hotel had an airport shuttle. So we got to the hotel, but they wouldn't let us check in when we first got there. So we went, ate breakfast, and then came back and just sat in the lobby until our room was ready. And then we napped. And then we napped the rest of the day because we were so tired.
I don't blame you. Well, I took the train. I took the Bright Line from Orlando to Miami, and which is always a great little ride there. Super chill, super relaxed. I worked on a press release. So for those of you that don't know, I am now running public relations for a new off-Broadway show called Facings, which will be which will be on the podcast next Tuesday. We're doing a Tuesday night special opening up April 24th in New York. So I was writing press release. I was doing a lot of work. I'm like, wow, I feel like a real professional working on the train, getting stuff done. It was great. Listening to Tick, Tick, Boom in my headphones. It was fantastic. Got into Miami. It was raining. And like my costume piece for my Audrey 2 is paper and foam and like falling apart, melty stuff. So I was protecting it at all costs. Got into the hotel. Hotel was, nice looking. It's the Hilton. They gave me a suite. Cool. The window broke or something because I had a river running through the hotel room. So that was fun and creepy. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to bed now.
Well, to be fair, they did tell you there was running water, right?
Yes, it does have the hotel room was almost running water.
They didn't say where. They just said
no. That's a good point. Maybe that was my like bathtub. Around in the water.
They're like, here's your shower.
There you go. Yeah, just pour it over your body.
Indoor swimming pool.
Spring showers.
The weirdest part is I like to take a bath before a cruise because I like to take baths and there's no bathtub on the cruise ship in my room. And the water was like yellow. And I'm like, oh, now I remember why I moved out of South Florida. But got to the cruise and then literally hit the ground running with you guys. And then we got on deck and I think we just kind of ran around for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's so tired from Monday. I need my lively group here.
I met up with you guys in the buffet. Well, I met with you in the buffet, Heather.
Yeah, it was weird. I think the first 2 days, everyone's like, "Are you Heather? Are you Heather? Heather? Are you the Heather from the this or that?" I'm like, "Hi."
You just need like a name tag. Just
I had a name tag.
I mean, like, hi, my name is Heather.
Well, the Broadway Cruise gives us the lanyard, so I wrote Heather on it and just kind of whatever. And I had people coming up like, "Are you Heather? I thought you looked familiar." And I'm like, "Hello, do I know you?" But everyone was so nice. It was just so fun.
I didn't write your name on my name tag till like the last day. So
oh no. I
couldn't find a Sharpie anywhere until I was with Sebastian and
Sebastian.
Thank you. I bring all the
Sebastian
Sharpies.
is a keeper of the Sharpies.
Yes, Sebastian, keeper of the Sharpies. Yes, I did that because I also drew the bone for Baxter on his lanyard.
Yes.
And then I wrote Ray's name, so I was like, all right, it's fine.
I even had the experience of someone yelling across. Their husband came running down the pool deck to me and went, "Are you Sebastian? My wife wants to say hi," and then pointed up to her. I'm like, who? What?
Who's your wife?
It's so weird.
Honestly,
Well, it was weird to me, I guess, when Casey and Zev gave Wayne Brady the bracelet. I had only seen him earlier on the cruise when I was covered from head to toe in blood as Carrie.
As Carrie. Oh, sorry, that time.
As Carrie. It was not real blood.
Yeah, to be clear, that was the only time she was.
That stuff came out so quick, and then I don't know if you guys could see. This is from rehearsal. You cannot see the light. Hold on. But we're rehearsing for a Fringe show, and I was helping with blood, and it was like the spirit one, and it's already leaked all over my hands. I'm like, this is not my blood. But yes. But so I had run into Wayne and his group and Jonathan, and then I guess when you guys went to go get his autograph when I was doing something else, I don't remember. He's like, "Oh, I know who Heather is." I was like, "Oh God, I don't know if that's good or bad."
Jonathan was so cool. I had him sign my poster, and he drew in a little box, and then made a picture of himself there, and then signed it.
That's fantastic.
Well,
during quarantine and stuff, they would host a lot of like improv stuff online. So I didn't get a chance to tell Wayne my stupid story of like when I saw him as Lola in Kinky Boots. I had made like it was social media was newer, and I was like, "Oh my God, I got to see at Wayne Brady, blah blah blah." And I made like a typo. It was like instead of 2, it said TI, like T. And he liked it. And then I was like, immediately made the next comment of like, "When Wayne Brady likes your post, you realize you have a typo." And I was so embarrassed. It was so silly. But yeah, I think the highlight of the high school reunion night was one, people asking me if I was okay. Dead to pan face. Guys, when I say I'm covered head to toe, I had my tiara and my prom dress essentially that I made. Sebastian and Seb and I are in my stateroom pouring blood on me. It's called mid-flow blood. And we're pouring it, and I'm because it just doesn't feel right.
Was it cold?
It's cold.
Oh.
It'd be weirder if it was warm. I think it'd be weirder if it was warm. But it just
it'd be too realistic.
Yeah.
But then, like, it just got sticky, and then
Well, blood will do that.
We went out to
right?
dinner.
I'm sorry. I mean, I heard that blood would do that.
It was really
You did not
interesting
know.
because my hair kept getting stuck, and I was like, ugh. It was so gross.
Oh, it was like
She looked amazing, though.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It did
it was
look
awesome.
amazing.
Everyone's like, oh my God, it's going to take forever to come off. It came off super easy.
That's
But I
good.
think my funniest memory from that night was we went to La Cucina, which is the Italian restaurant, with Everett and Nico. Everett, by the way, has offered to create a new intro and theme song for the Broadway Fan Club
Ooh.
podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes, he's a wonderful composer. So we were talking about that at dinner. He was like, at one point, he goes, Heather, I don't even see the blood anymore. It's just what you look like. And I'm like, oh my God.
I
But-
love them.
But all I have to do is this, and I'm going to have Sebastian and Seb laughing. All I want is. So the blood was so sticky, and it had fallen into my cleavage. That at one
Yeah.
point I had a uniboob, and I was like, I really need to unstick this because it feels like there's
It
a
was like you
section there.
Velcroed. It was
And I
At one
turned
point,
to
Heather's
Sebastian, and I'm just like,
arm stuck to itself.
oh, it was so funny. But then, so we were laughing our asses off at dinner. So here's like the fancy schmancy Italian restaurant, and then next door to us is like half of 6-man crew, and I'm just like, hi. Freaking people out when they're coming around the corner. And then at the dance party, because of the sweat, it was dripping. And that's when Casey, you were dressed in your pink lady outfit.
Pink ladies.
And we jammed out. We also sang a duet, which is fantastic. And blood, it was great. Robert, I think that was the day, like, you took like a day, like, not away for us, but you were like having a very casual day.
Yeah, I kind of played everything by ear, and I was just like, I showed up when I did.
That's fine. And I think
And
Baxter had his basketball outfit on, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He had his basketball. They were like, "Oh, is he a globetrotter?" And I went, "No, he
he's a high
thinks
school-
he was a high school basketball player. Actually, he was just a water boy, but that's okay. He lived my own dreams, you know."
He can
Well, that
be
was
whatever he
also-
wants to be,
That was also the day of our first stage door. So that was good.
That was
Um,
awesome.
which
That
I
was-
did not get to go to because I was at drag brunch.
Yeah, but people went before drag brunch.
Some did. Some did.
But that's okay.
Well, I did.
I counted
Can't hear you,
one or two.
Sebastian.
Said one or two people did. I saw
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
or two.
So
But
we
they
had
didn't get all the autographs either. I mean, they just
Oh.
got a couple and then left. So.
We got
so the
the
first
one
day
or two they
was
wanted.
Anthony Rapp, Anna Gasteyer, Annalie Ashford, and Shoshana Bean, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first day. So it was all
No.
four. No?
Yeah.
I thought
Wait.
Shoshana was on the second day.
I took a picture.
she's
Hold
on-
on.
It was Annalie Ashford, Anna Gasteyer, Anthony Rapp, and
Shoshana.
no, it wasn't Shoshana. Shoshana was on the second day. No, it was Shoshana. You're right. It was
Maybe I
Was
Shoshana.
it
didn't take a
Shoshana?
picture.
Because
I thought I took a
second
picture.
stage door was Adam, Corey, Henry and Ethan, Solea,
Brian and Anna
Mitchell, and Bob Mackie.
Yeah.
and Anna Gasteyer.
And Casey.
Casey, yeah. Casey Levy. Not
Yeah.
me.
No, Casey.
It wasn't me. But you signed my poster. What? Wait, what? No, just kidding.
I should have signed the poster. But it was
Should've,
fun.
yeah.
And then, but we had like I love the days at sea. Like I feel like you can just get so much stuff done because there's such
Mhm.
a packed schedule.
Mhm.
But then you go home and like go to your stateroom and you're like, oh my God, it's 2 a.m. and there's a time change. Oh my God.
Oh,
So-
see, I have the opposite. I get too ramped up, and I can't get to sleep.
Fair.
Oh, I had no
I
trouble.
fall
I was
asleep
like,
very easily. What were you gonna say, Robert?
I said I got to my room and it just crashed. It's like Baxter, I'll
Dang.
change you in the morning. I'll change you in the morning. It's okay.
I'm just like, all right, I'm in bed. All the blood is off of me. I don't want to scare housekeeping.
How many times have I
Get
said
it all
that?
over the sheets.
I tell myself all the times, like, I got the bloods off of me. I can go to bed now.
Good. I think I made Sebastian take a picture of like the aftermath after I was like, oh, this looks crazy. And then we went into Cozumel the next day. And I think all 5 of us did something a little bit different. So Casey
I bought a bed.
You were in bed.
I bought a bed.
You didn't go out in Cozumel?
Oh, you bought a bed.
I was like, you didn't go out?
No, he went into the port.
Yeah, I went to the port and I went to buy Aloha and I was going to get some socks and I landed up buying a bed. So there you go.
Ta-da. So if you need a good bed, go to Cozumel.
Yeah.
Del Sol offered a whole motorbike.
What did you say, Del Sol? What?
Yeah, they offered a moped you could buy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I find a hard time trying to bring that back onto the cruise ship.
Was it a color change?
They shipped it.
They shipped it?
They ship it fully assembled, and I'm just like, this has got to be way too expensive. I'm not even asking.
Crazy.
Is it a color changing? It was a color changing
color. That's what I wanted to know.
For people that don't know what De La Soul is, it's at most ports, but they have the color changing like clothing. So like you go into the sun and like something turns green instead of it being white. So yeah, moped. I think that's a good idea, Robert. I want a color changing moped.
Right? That'd be fun.
And so Sebastian and Zev, you guys went and did swimming with sea lions and manatees with your dad and your dad's
fun. So fun.
And all I remember talking to Sebastian is I didn't realize that it came with an open bar.
I did not know it came with an open bar. It was appreciated.
Yes.
I drank so much on that cruise. Oh my gosh. It was crazy.
I did not. I was very happy to be someone's plus one. They're like, you want to drink? Honestly, the most I drank was the coffee because the concussion, I was like, my headache hurts so much. I need caffeine. So thank you to Sebastian and Zev for being my coffee dealers.
Happy to help.
Look, if that's your drug of choice, I'm thrilled.
Yes, absolutely. Was it the caramel ribbon crunch with soy add whip? Thank you. And they were like, you want the grande or the venti? And I'm like, I don't care. They always gave me like the venti. And I'm like, I can finish about a third of this. And then Casey and I went with Casey's mom, Fern, and then our friend Ray, who I hope he can join us. If not, that's okay. We'll have him on another show. But we went with them. We did a Cozumel by trolley. So we picked up a trolley and we had, oh my God, Alejandro, our tour guide. Very nice. Nice. It was different. We were all expecting to just take us through a tour. It says, oh, it stopped at this 500-year-old church. It stops over here. The very first thing it brought us to was like the touristy Mayan Plaza. Is that what it's called, Casey?
Yeah, I think so.
You're like, oh, tequila tasting and chocolate tasting.
Chocolate, yeah.
Okay. We have no idea, but sure.
It didn't say that on the thing that told us what the tour was about.
It did not. And the funnier part was I forgot to get my favorite part of the day was waiting to get off the ship. Did you guys hear the story about Corey Cott?
No, what happened?
Okay.
So me and my mom got in the elevator and Corey Cott was in there with his wife.
Which I did not know. So Ray and I are downstairs waiting because I think you guys went to go get your passports or something.
Yeah.
And so Ray and I are standing in line to get off of the ship. And I'm standing there and like, he's like, where did that girl go? And I'm like, Casey, I don't know. She's going to come right back. And he's like, well, they're like making us walk. So the minute I see your like little hair, because she's got like this cute little curly pigtaily things, like a little bit lower. Yes, like down here. And the minute you have that, I was like, Casey over here. And Corey looks up at me. He's like, oh, hi. And I was like, I said Casey, not Corey. Without, not intentional, but like, I was like, no, I meant Casey. And like every single person online was hysterically laughing. And I'm like, oh, I just pissed off Corey. Oh no. And I did not. So I saw him and his wife and they were taking a picture on the port. And I had to explain to Casey and Rainford. And I was like, well, Corey's brother is Casey Cott, who was in Moulin Rouge. He's also in Riverdale. I was like, so he's probably used to hearing somebody go, Casey. So
he said that in his show. He said that like people have called him Casey before.
He probably threw that in because of us, but
no, it was the day before.
Oh,
it was the night before. Yeah.
I did not get a chance to see that one. But
It was a great show. It really was.
oh, I love him. I really love him. I told him he was like the unsung hero of the ship. I think a lot of people didn't know who he was. Now they do. But what a voice. But yeah, so I stopped him. I was like, Corey, I'm so sorry. I was like, and he and I had met before when I was running still running the fan group before Heart of Rock and Roll. We met at Stage Door. He's like, I was like, I'm so sorry I was meeting her. And I hope he's like, I thought it was hysterical. So that was the best part. And then we did the Stage Door the second day he was there, and Casey and I were there. And she's like, did you do that on purpose? Like, we gave him my business card. He called me Amber to be facetious. He's like, maybe. He's great. Love him. Hopefully, knock on wood, he'll be on the show soon. I know they were picking up the kiddos and heading back home. What I love about the cruise, besides us being able to like just naturally fall into habit, is like the accessibility of celebrities or those people who like hold a Broadway star to a higher resonance. Like Sebastian, especially, you've had a lot of interaction with Wayne Brady.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So
that's what you on the spot. We did put Robert on the spot. Do you want to say?
Yeah. Sure. So
sing, Sebastian. Sing.
Sing, Sebastian. Sing.
Don't got much of a voice, but I did get a good big interaction with Wayne Brady.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had a hard time coming to terms with me being trans, and it got to the point.
Wait, you're trans?
Yeah, I know. Shocking, right? So it got to the point that I even had talked with my brother and was like, I might need to cut my dad out. Like, I don't know what else I can do at this point. So I took him kicking and screaming to see Kinky Boots. I put him front and center. And by the end of the show, he got up and said, I get it. And since then, our relationship has gotten so much better.
Awesome.
It really, really put us back in touch. And it was great to be able to tell Wayne that, who later at Lawn, I think he told me to come bring my poster to get signed to his Q&A. So I actually realized at the end of the Q&A, my dad was there. So I was able to go, hey, Wayne, that's my dad. And he looks up at my dad and gives him a big thumbs up. It was great.
He's so sweet.
He was so sweet.
His whole persona is just lovely, and I really like that he was really kind of out there for everybody. Not that everybody else wasn't. Like Anna came down to the piano bar for a little bit, Corey too, but it was just so nice to be able to see people and like have those times to kind of give those stories to the people that I think needed them.
And he was genuinely happy to be there. I mean, he said it several times. It's like, I love this. Yeah. So I hope he comes back.
Corey said that too at his last show. He was like, he not that he had lost his spark for Broadway and performing, but he had like, he said at one point it just becomes a job. Like you're doing it for so long, and then you stop and you're doing something intermittently. So it's like, all right, I've got a job to do. But he said this, like having performing and doing everything all day long, and every day, he said it really kind of re-sparked and reignited his love for Broadway and for theater. I thought was really beautiful to hear too.
And I know Adam Pascal chose to come to this.
Yeah.
He took out of drag to do this.
He did.
He did.
We talked a little bit about drag just did their live recording last weekend.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
So they just live recorded the show. But yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he and Anthony Rapp, that first night, that cabaret show,
that was gorgeous.
That was the only thing I cared about. Only thing I cared about. There's so many great photos, and to watch the two of them perform. And I had no idea it was going to be mostly 90s music. And I was like, I am here. I'm not moving.
I just didn't know that Anthony could get that bass.
Yeah.
That was a nice
awesome. Did any of you catch his one-man show in New York?
Mm-mm. Oh, yes, Without You. I did.
Yeah, that was, I don't know how he did it every night. I mean, he tore himself apart. It was wild.
And I think, Sebastian, you said you bought that book for like 30 cents at Goodwill.
I did buy his book. I found it at a thrift store. It was used 30 cents. It's now autographed, hopefully worth a lot more than 30 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to pay a lot to get my autographed copy.
I paid $20 at Without You. It was $20 for the autographed book.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Well, Casey, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say that I've seen like bits and pieces of them singing like the songs on TikTok, and so when I saw that they were gonna be performing, I was like in my head, I was like secretly hoping that they were gonna do like "Light My Candle" and like the songs from Rent.
Oh,
That was
absolutely.
wild.
I
That
was so
funny.
happy. I was so happy when they did.
I had gotten to see them about 12 years ago in New York perform together, and I did not realize that they just did that a lot, like all the time. So I'm like, oh, I've seen this show.
They make a good
Yeah,
duo.
I haven't seen. I've seen the bits and like the clips of it, but the very first thing when I saw that they were performing, I reached out to Six Man and I was like, this is the big difference between me buying tickets because you can either have like a program that has tickets included where you see different performers perform, or you don't. You can watch a simulcast. It's like, are they going to be simulcast? Are they going to be in the thing? Nope, it's going to be on deck for everybody. Done. That makes my life. And very appreciative. I know we were all melting, and Zev especially, out in the sun. I got a good picture of you holding the towel over your head, like a superhero.
Yeah, I got up close, but I was so happy.
You were like second row.
For most of their
You had a
show, I
gaggle.
actually ended up watching from the hot tub, so
Yes,
that
you
was
did.
incredibly
Yes.
comfortable.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was so much fun.
I wanted to do that, and I was like, well,
I
here we
never
are.
touched the pool this time. This year.
I hadn't the last 2 years.
I almost touched the pool, so I literally walked with intention of going into the pool on Wednesday for like an hour, and I got out there and I met new friends, David and Adam, and instead of getting into the pool, we talked for a half hour, and I'm like, well, I've got to go. Okay, bye. So I had my bathing suit on. I was ready.
It was
I was
funny
wearing my
during the
bathing
show.
suit in Cozumel because I was like, maybe we'll go to the beach. I don't know. Did not go to the
It was
beach.
funny because a kid, Brady, I call him a kid. He's 18. A kid relative to my age. Comes in and sits into the hot tub during Adam and Anthony's show. And it occurs to me he's never heard these songs before.
I turned to Sebastian during one, and it's like living in America at the end of the millennium, and I just whisper, "Not this kid."
I turned to the kid as the crowd goes wild after Adam hits the high note in
One Song Glory. Yeah.
No, not in One Song Glory. When they were singing
Santa Fe?
No. Seasons of Love.
Oh, Seasons of Love.
I turned to the kid and went, that's a Sopranos line.
His jaw dropped.
I just hit my ankle in my wooden chair. I'm here, but I'm dying.
His jaw hit the water. It was so like...
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because it's a huge dynamic of personalities and like experience in the cruise. Some people, this is their Broadway experience for the year. Us, we're theater people. Like, I'm there maybe once a month. Robert's very heavily involved. Casey, you're very heavily involved. Zev and Sebastian, you guys go at least once a month, right?
I've been very fortunate. Like I said, I only started with theater about 3 years ago. I've been to about a dozen Broadway shows. I've been to probably twice that number of professional shows at the local theater.
I love it. I think it's important to support local too. But
it's been incredible, and everybody's a newbie. Everybody's got to start somewhere. And if you're interested in it, all I got to say is do it. It's amazing.
I was talking to people locally here tonight, and I was like, "Yeah, I just got back from Mexico." What? Yeah, I was on the Broadway Cruise. Oh my God, why did I hear about that? I would go on the Broadway Cruise, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll talk to marketing.
I have an interesting question.
Wait till next
year. What
year,
was your
and then
first
I have a
Broadway show
referral
that you
code.
saw?
can use mine.
The first Broadway show for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so mine's really funny, and I don't know if you heard the story last year with Cheyenne Jackson. So I had seen shows when I was little, like going to school, and like my first touring show was Meet Me in St. Louis with my grandmother and my mom. I was like 6. The first show I ever saw on Broadway in New York City was with my mom and my stepdad. My stepdad waited for 2 hours online at TKTS in Times Square and got tickets for All Shook Up.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was pissed. I was so mad. I was like, but I want my first Broadway show to be.
I forgot it was on Broadway.
Yeah.
Right?
Cats was at the Winter Garden. Phantom was at the Majestic. Like, here's all these big shows. He got tickets for All Shook Up, and I was pissed. I was a spoiled little 17-year-old, 19-year-old, whatever it was. I was mad. I was like, I wanted this my big show to be this. I was an asshole. And I watched the show because it was like Grease, but with Elvis songs. And this young performer named Cheyenne Jackson, who is incredible. And
he was on the cruise last year.
Yeah, he's on his concert last year was just phenomenal.
Well, that's what sold me on the Broadway Cruise. I was like, I don't care about this. Oh my God, Cheyenne Jackson's going to be there. That's really cool. So last year on the cruise, I told him that story. He and I kept bumping into each other when I was dressed in my Phantom ball gown. I cannot say it anymore without damn Ariana Grande's ball gown.
Everything now reminds me of something that has to do with Wicked.
It's awful. It's just awful. In the best way possible. But I told him a story. I said, this happened and I was so upset. And, then I watched this and I said, and literally that show, I think, put it in my mind at such a young age to be like, because growing up, I wasn't in theater. I was in band. I wanted to be in theater and art. My parents said, no, you're going to learn something valuable. Well, here we are. And now I support it. My dad literally just posted, that's my kid in the comments 10 minutes ago. But, it's kind of like it pushes to that. But it kind of was a thing that awoke me and said, hey, this is something people can actually do and enjoy, and this is life. And I told him that last year, and we both sat there crying, and he came up and he gave me a hug. And then, of course, everybody behind me in line goes, oh, they're hugging. I want a hug. And I'm like, oh, my God, get me out of here so fast.
Last year, me and my mom sat next to Cheyenne and his husband on the oh my God, what's the boat? The Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Tender.
that? What is Tender? Okay. We sat next to him on the tender going into Grand Cayman. And so as soon as we got off the boat, I didn't even ask him. Someone else asked him first if they could take a picture. So I was like, well, if they did it, I'll do it now. But I wasn't going to ask.
He's great. He is so delightful. They both
so
are.
Nice. Showed us pictures of his kids and everything.
Oh, yeah. So what was your first show then, Casey?
So like I said before, my very first Broadway, on Broadway show was Music Man. And that was when I was 9. I'm sure I probably saw some off-Broadway shows and stuff earlier than that, but that's the first one I can remember seeing. I don't remember the show itself, everything I saw or who was in it or whatever, but that's what I remember that. And then I've seen a bunch of off-Broadway stuff in Vegas. We have now, I think it's only been here now for probably 10 years or so, but we have our big theater and we get traveling shows all the time. So
you had Phantom over there.
Yeah. And then on the Strip, we had Phantom, which I saw. We've also had Mamma Mia, which I saw. And I'm pretty sure we had Avenue Q, but I was too young to go see it. But that's one that I would really love to see in the future if they ever do it
I've
again.
seen Avenue
Q. It's a great show.
It is a
When I was in high school, I was wearing an Avenue Q shirt that said, yeah, they're real. And the teacher looks at me, reads the shirt, and goes, does your parents know you have that shirt? I looked him dead in the eye and went, my mom bought me this shirt. He insisted I go see this show and then bought me this shirt.
A couple of years ago, a friend got me the, it's a really large, I don't think I have it anymore, round mouse pad that said the internet is for porn.
I have that mouse pad. The internet is for porn.
Yes, and now I'm gonna have it sung the rest of my head. What about Robert? What was your first show?
Okay, so I went in 2001 when all of y'all were just 3, and I got sick. I think I told you the story about the viral throat infection that I got from the water.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I was really, really sick, but I said, I'm damned if I'm not going to go see a Broadway show. So I went to the Tix booth, and sad to say, my first musical experience on Broadway was Seussical the Musical.
That's awesome.
It was not about, but the first act is great. And that's what I got to say about Seussical the Musical. But it made me fall in love with Alone in the Universe, which is my favorite song from the show. And I am determined I'm going to play Horton at one point or another.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But I made up for it by seeing Rocky Horror Show on Broadway which
is coming back, by the way.
The narrator, what is it? The corneologist, whatever that guy name is, whatever the guy who does all the
Criminologist.
Dr. Scott?
chronologist. Yeah, no, not Dr. Scott.
Oh, the
The
actual
chronologist. The
Okay.
chronologist was Dick Cavett.
Okay.
And everybody knows who Dick Cavett is. He used to be a talk show host a long time ago, and his banter with the audience had me in stitches. It was so awesome. So it kind of made up for Susie the Musical, which again, Act 1 is great. Anyway, so that was my first.
Sebastian, Zev.
Okay, so I can't remember which one came first.
The chicken or the egg?
No, Beauty and the Beast or Peter Pan.
Ooh.
I was too
Those are
young
both
to
good.
tell you which one I saw first, but I can tell you what left me. It left me a big impression. With Beauty and the Beast, they threw a fireball across the stage.
Yeah.
And that just, I didn't even care about the transformation at the end. I'm like, I want to know about the goddamn fireball.
Right. Little 5-year-old Sebastian going, what's the goddamn fireball?
It's called flash paper. I've used it a lot. It's great.
Look,
You gotta be
I
real
didn't
careful.
know these things, and it was like 12 years later I actually saw a program that
Mhm.
broke it down on
With
television.
asbestos gloves and
It was like
everything,
asbestos gloves and shit.
Yeah,
that
you
they
have to
used.
be careful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
and
first show I
with
saw at
Peter
Dr. Phillips
Pan,
Center was Beauty and the Beast. Was the first show I ever saw at Dr. Phillips Center here locally.
with Peter Pan, I went in knowing that a play will always change, but the movie won't.
Sure.
So I very much wanted to just see the audience refuse to clap for Tinkerbell. I was so angry when Tinkerbell
Let her die. Let her
survived.
die.
I was like, so yes, I was that 5-year-old, like, ooh, goddamn fireball. 'Cause I'm also going, God damn it, you're clapping for
He's
Tinkerbell.
still that 5-year-old. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to see what would happen.
That's funny. And Zev.
I need to consult my external brain for what was the first Broadway show I saw. I don't remember.
The first one I dragged you to might have been.
I just don't remember what order I saw them.
Yeah, I want to say it was probably Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
With Josh
Ooh.
Groban.
That's a good one.
That was
With Josh?
fantastic.
All right.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
No wonder it hooked you.
So Sweeney Todd with all the choreography and music where they're just slightly off kilter.
Oh, yeah.
And it
Literally
just
undulate.
sucks you in.
You undulate right with
Oh.
that boat.
Sweeney
And
Todd
this-
is probably my
this was
favorite
the
Sondheim show.
noisiest,
Oh, yeah.
loudest theater audience ever. Totally appropriately. When they applauded, it was roars of applause.
That
It
was
was
different.
on your feet and screaming and cheering.
Even I turned to him and went, "This is not normal."
So you
Like,
saw
this is-
Emily Ashford.
We did.
Yes.
We did.
Oh
saw
my gosh.
Ashford.
Nice.
And
You're
then
so
we
lovely.
went back and we saw the next cast that came in.
Mhm.
Nice.
All with Sutton Foster, Aaron Vet,
And
and Joe
Aaron
Lockie.
And it was, I got to experience with that how it changes between
The casting.
performances and different casts and how everyone's different take. And it's just like, oh, I need more of this in my life.
Oh, it's so
Give
good.
me
I
more.
saw Tukes and you saw Gina DePaul in there too.
I'm jealous.
Maybe
I
it was
haven't
Little
seen
Shop.
anything with anyone famous.
Oh, Little Shop was off Broadway.
Oh.
Yeah, little.
Yeah.
Does off Broadway count?
No, they said Broadway.
I took him to Little Shop first. I think we might have saw Little Shop and then Sweeney in the same day.
Yeah, they were in the same day.
We usually do a twofer. When we go into the city, we knock out 2 shows.
Well, it only makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The first Broadway cruise, I saw 5 shows.
There you go.
I went a week before.
Because
And,
out of New York, right?
yeah, because I was in New York. I'm like, I can see. I saw Bad Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm sorry, Bad Cinderella.
Noted.
They tried. I mean, that cast of anybody that I applauded that cast so hard because they really, really tried. I'm going like, God, I would have hated to be in that show, but the costumes were incredible and the actors did their best, but the material was just it's crazy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yes.
So my high school, after I had graduated, I think it was literally the year after I graduated. They were one of the first high schools that was able to do Rent.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got to see them do Rent. That was really nice.
That's
My high school
amazing.
wouldn't have touched that show.
You wouldn't touch that show? Is that what you just said?
No, my high
High
school
school.
would never.
I don't know.
My high school
We
found,
did. We had Annie,
Christmas coming
Pippin,
afterwards.
Grease. What's the other one? We did another one. I think those were the ones like we had like the big ones. Everyone. So in Grease was
Oh.
the word.
I know they were a year. Well,
well,
Don't
so
talk about years.
a couple of us were asked like what our top guests for the Broadway cruise would be. Who would you guys want to see next?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And
Well,
why?
I would love to see Susie Eddie Izzard, even though not musical necessarily, though the
Okay.
ability to do so.
Her Great Expectations was
Great.
amazing.
I went with great expectations. I came home going, she nailed it.
I mean,
That's awesome.
I've never been too big into some of the classic literature. It's just it gets too slow.
I mean,
It gets hard for me to follow.
honestly,
But she made it seamless, and it was a one-woman show, and I had no issue keeping track of all the different characters she was playing. It was
Okay.
amazing.
Dickens is. I mean, hell, I'm an English major. I studied this stuff. Dickens bores the hell out of me. If it wasn't Susie, I would not have gone seen the show. I have no interest in reading this book. Susie.
when you perform it, it's either, it was the best of shows, it was the worst of shows.
It was.
Well, Robert, who would you want to see on the Broadway cruise next time? Besides
That-
us, obviously.
So, yeah. There's two. I would love to see Josh Groban, and I would like to see Jennifer Hudson.
Interesting. So more on the singer side, not anyone that's actually in shows actively.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, actively?
I mean, just in general, I'm in my head trying to be like, I've seen
And
this, but who's been on a show recently?
I would
Like,
love to see Daniel Radcliffe and
Yes.
Hugh Jackman, of course.
Yes. I was
don't
gonna
think
say
I'd be on that cruise.
I was gonna say Hugh and Sutton could come together.
Oh my god, they already
That
do.
would be such insanity. Book one or the other and make them switch.
Yeah,
off.
and you're guaranteed to sell out. You are guaranteed to sell out.
We will never get on that cruise.
All right, Casey.
And we got to bring Wayne back. I'm sorry, of all the people I've seen
Wayne
so
and
far,
Norm Lewis, I would love to
him
see.
and Norm. Oh yeah, Norm
Yes.
he's phenomenal
Yes.
too. Both of
We should
them.
bring all the nicest of them.
I
back.
know all the nicest ones. Corey, come on, Corey. Anna, did anybody see the final Wayne Brady show on the pool deck?
My mom
the
did.
one that he did improv.
Yeah,
My mom did. I was in Heather's room helping her get ready for.
If it
Anna
wasn't for
Gasteyer
Casey,
made an appearance.
Oh, did she?
Really?
Yeah, they did improv together. It was hilarious. It was really cool.
Oh, that's great.
Anna is great. She is just one of the most humblest, most modest people.
She is very, very,
She's
very
delightful.
cool.
They're actually doing a cast listening party for Once Upon a Mattress, I think next week or something.
I saw a video of her doing the Potion song. Her in the recording studio. I just saw it today. It was
Oh
awesome.
yeah. She's incredible. Well, I would say if we're continuing on the trend of Phantom, because why not? Ramin, Karen Liu. He's doing Pirates right now. Pirates of the Penzance musical. Okay. I told them I want Aaron Tveit, Derek Klena, Sutton Foster would be a good one. I mean, there are some big uns out there, but I think they're needing to tap into that potential.
Idina Menzel, my God.
Idina would be awesome. I really wanted to see Alex Brightman, but then he canceled.
Yeah.
I want to know what Alex is doing that he canceled. Alex and Roger canceled. Well, Roger, they just announced Roger Bart is going to be going over to the Sydney production of Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
That makes sense.
So that's cool. But yeah, I would have loved to see Roger Bart and Alex Brightman. I wonder if they're, and obviously Eva Noblezada, she was supposed to be on this cruise, but she's in this little show called Cabaret right now. I told her a couple months ago, it's like, stop getting cast and stuff and come on the cruise. But no, really don't. The cruise can wait.
The cruise can wait.
Because she was supposed to
Oh,
do it
well,
last year.
congrats to her and Reeve.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Big
For getting
congrats. We
engaged.
made a big to-do for their engagement a couple of weeks ago. But yeah.
Reeve Carney and his family, awesome people. Awesome.
They're all so delightful. And I think that's really what makes the people that are on the cruise so important, like the celebrity part. And I wish it kind of trickled down to the passengers too. But I think
there were so many rude passengers this time. It was
Were,
insane.
oh my gosh. And I heard it firsthand.
There were,
Yeah.
but I have to say, I really appreciate.
This is my dog. This is Toby.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
He climbs on the recliner, sits on my lap, and then sits right next to me on the recliner, and then falls asleep. So.
Oh, that's cute. What are you gonna say, Zeph?
I really just appreciate that it still has the part of the atmosphere that I liked from the first two cruises, where it feels like you're in the safest place in the world.
Mhm.
yes.
We had
I did
a
feel really sad.
guy we made friends with, Scott, lost his
Yes.
cell phone at one point, and I knew without hesitating I could say to him, "Look, as soon as somebody finds it, they're going to turn it in at the desk."
I remember I was standing
And
right
within
there
a
with you.
it happened like last thing before he went to bed, so he checked first thing in the morning, and his phone had been turned in.
Yep.
Mhm.
There was no chance of anything not happening like that.
Sebastian, didn't you say something like, I know I could like leave my wallet on the table and walk away and people wouldn't touch
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
just
there are some one-offs that were definitely having a bad time and took it out on other people.
Sure.
But
I
I think
think that happens everywhere.
it happens
Yeah.
everywhere. I think for the short period of time we're all shoved together, it could have been way worse. I think there were just some cranky people, but the rest of the people were so wonderful and trustworthy, it made it. And that's like, it's going to sound terrible because I could not care which Broadway stars, I say this in quotations, are on the ship or what presentations are on the ship. I'm coming to spend time with you guys, like my family, like that's so important. And the other part, like that's just a cherry on top. Will I say knowing that Bob freaking Mackie was going to be on this cruise was like a huge thing for me? Absolutely. But I booked before I found out about Bob.
Mhm.
I found out about before Anthony and Adam. I booked the cruise before finding out any of the talent because I already knew I was going to have a great time with you guys
Mhm.
before I
We did
even
as
really
well.
knew that.
See,
There
that's
was
the
no
same
doubt.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like that's the same thing my mom said. She goes, I don't care where it's going. I don't care like how long it is. I don't really care who the talent is. It's just it's a cruise and it's Broadway themed. Like
I don't want it any shorter than it was. I still feel like a
No.
lot of stuff was shoved in. What were you going to say, Robert?
It was. I didn't like that it was shorter, but like I told with some people, I felt like I felt like we were rushed.
Yeah.
I was like,
I felt like that last year too. Like we had to kind of decide which activity. Like I think the first night it was the Wicked musical sing along, the piano bar, and Broadway karaoke, and we're like, well, we're gonna have to bounce between all three to see how it goes.
Mhm.
And
I watched the whole movie.
I think Heather, you and I were talking about it. It felt like all of a sudden on the last night, it was suddenly back to back major things everyone wants to see.
Oh my god, yeah.
And that's why we missed
Couldn't
stuff
do
trying to
it
get your
all.
costume on because
And, like,
everything was just
there were
we couldn't figure out the
definitely,
time.
if things had been a few more things on the other days, it wouldn't have all had to
I feel like
be
there was
all at
more
once.
time on Wednesday for sure, like in Cozumel. And I feel like maybe they did the itinerary the way they did to give people like time to relax after Cozumel, but we were in port for so long.
Mhm.
But I felt like Wednesday could have very easily had a theme or like added stuff to it. Casey, wasn't Wednesday when you and I died?
I think it was.
I think so.
So we were watching Henry and Ethan play. They have this new interactive immersive show, and at the end, they were calling up volunteers.
That's right.
To sing "One Day More" from Les Mis. And Ray was sitting next to me, and there was already people that were jumping up. And I looked at Ray because I didn't realize Casey and Fern were across the way. I saw you, but like we didn't know where you were. And I look at Ray, and I was like, I just kind of want to be a dead body on the barricade. Is that stupid? He's like, oh my God, do it. Is that you were there?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, who? Somebody else? No, you were there the second night. And I was like,
I
I'm
saw-
not
I
dying
saw-
tonight. But I gotta remember. Yeah, it was Wednesday because otherwise it'd be bloody and that would be weird.
Yeah. No,
No, wait.
I mean, that would be perfect.
it was Wednesday.
It was
No,
Wednesday.
because Ethan and Henry didn't do 2 back-to-backs, did they?
They did.
He did.
They did one on Wednesday and one on Thursday.
This
Yeah.
is my concussion. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you guys are here.
That's just cruise brain.
No, cruise brain and concussion brain are terrible, by the way. Terrible. I had my own pharmacy in my room. It was great. But it was work. I was working. I was like, oh, look, hey, Ken Davenport. Oh, hey, Corey. Like I was having meetings on the go. It was great. And then, so Casey from across the room. So I convinced the girl in front of me, was like, do you want to go die in the barricade with me? She's like, yeah. So like I die, I trip over her and I die. And then 5 seconds later, I just hear thunk and I look over and it's Casey's face is close to my face. I was like, this girl and I are going to be friends for the rest of our lives. We were laying in the middle of Spinnaker, looking up at somebody waving the flag, and you could feel the rocking of the ship and the lights.
And we're just, we're dying laughing.
We're
Just
hysterical. And I was like, stop, we're supposed to be dead. And I was wearing a rather low-cut top, and I realized that a lady after me said I gave quite a show on the other end. There was that. Jeffrey Cohen says, so it wasn't the best Broadway cruise compared to others. No, Jeffrey, I would not say that at all.
I thought it was
I've
just
been
as
on
good as
all
last year's.
three.
They were all different.
Yeah, Robert's
I think
just right. They
there's
were
always
all
room for
different.
improvement because this was only the 3rd year they've ever done this, and it's been changing every year to kind of figure out how to hit that demographic. What were you going to say, Zeph?
I was saying I've been on all 3, and yeah, they each had pros and cons. They're finding their footing. The talent is always going to change how it's done. Yeah, I would definitely give it a shot if anyone's thinking about it.
I liked it more this year than I did last year. One, because I had like my built-in people. We hadn't really talked about it before the cruise of like, oh, are we going to hang out every day? Like it just kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But the entertainment was great. I felt like I did more outside shows last year. I don't know why, but this year there was so much to do.
Mhm.
Friends from last year were missed from this year, but there were more friends to kind of make. And then I did miss having 2 ports, like having that extra day to me was really important. Because literally Wednesday night after like the thing with Henry and Ethan, I remember walking back and I'm like, oh my God, tomorrow's the last day already. And I'm like, nope, you can't think like that because you have a whole day left with people.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Thursday night, I was like, most of us were upstairs at Oceans, just having our last supper essentially. And I was like, oh my God, like we all get off a ship tomorrow. And like, I was an emotional wreck, but that's just me. But it was I enjoyed it this year. I don't know. There was something different about it this year that I enjoyed than last year. And I'm going to enjoy next year's better than this year's because we're going to gain even more. And I have our built-in little universe. So.
Every year is different. It's unique.
Yeah. The one constant every year? Washy, washy, happy, happy.
Happy,
Yes.
washy. And I asked at Oceans for anybody who's paying attention and listening from the cruise. I was like, so last year there was this guy who thought he was auditioning. He was beautiful, like little Filipino with a beautiful voice. And he's like, made this whole song for the happy, happy, washy, washy, and it danced, and everybody was like obsessed with him. And this year I was like, oh, no more happy, happy, washy, washy. But there was some guy with like a hat on, and they all tried to say it. And there was a girl that tried to sing at one point. It was very sweet. But that's for when you walk into the. What were you gonna say?
When I walked in and they didn't have that guy, I'm like, "Where's happy, happy, washy, washy?"
Right. So going into the buffet, post-COVID especially, they just spray like hand sanitizer on you. And this guy last year, and I guess now, but it is a Norwegian thing, the happy, happy, washy, washy. That's like part of their training. It's just this guy took it to the extreme, which I love.
Yeah.
You're trying to be part of the Broadway.
I think it's fantastic. I thought it was great. I messaged you guys. So immediately after the cruise, like I'm like, we're starting a group chat and we talk all day long. And it's been mostly me venting for the last 2 days, which has been great. But I'm like, wait a minute. So I was in Fort Lauderdale because my high school's 50th anniversary was this weekend. So I attended that. And I'm like, wait, Wait, but there's no show tunes playing like when I wake up,
That's the
and
worst
like
part
there's no
of it.
musicals when I go to sleep, and I'm not gonna go have breakfast with you guys and then go watch Corey Cott in a tank top somewhere. There's something. There's something. I already told Corey. I told him. I said we've been talking about the cruise on the podcast, and Amber and I have been saying yes, featuring Corey Cott, and then Corey Cott's arms are very separate. So
She told him that too.
I
in
did.
Cozumel.
100%. And he thought it was the funniest thing ever. But and so did his wife. It was fantastic.
I have
was
a question.
like, please, huh?
I have a question.
What?
This
You have an
is
answer?
for the group. So I don't know how many of you are performers, but if you are a performer, what was the favorite show that you were in?
Well, I'll actually start because this was a milestone for me. And on not the night that you died on the barricades, but the second night, they also did One Day More.
And you went up.
And I went up and sang. And for
Yeah.
anyone who knows me, I don't sing in public. So, I mean, I found a nice little spot.
You had a really good time. Of course,
where I could hide.
of
But
course you had
I did it.
you had an old fashioned in you at the time too.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Be careful.
Hey, and there were people that died on the barricade on the second night too. So I remember
Yeah.
seeing
It
them
was
when
the
we walked
same
in.
girl. So the girl and her roommate were dressed like different versions of Idina Menzel. So it was the same girl, and they looked at me, and I literally screamed at Ethan. I said, "I'm not dying tonight," because I was in a huge Audrey 2 cosplay.
Yes.
He
And
was.
if
It was
I would have
massive.
gotten on the ground, I would have not been able to get up. I would have looked like a turtle on my back.
But she did go up for Suddenly Seymour. So
Yes, I was very specifically voluntold that because they had made a request during like pre-cruise, like if anyone wants music, I was like,
yeah,
oh my
in
god,
the
Suddenly
Facebook
Seymour,
group.
blah blah blah, and that but I told Ethan and Henry, I was like, oh, you're not going to be able to miss me. It's like massive. And like, I've got 2 little baby Audrey too. So like, we can't wait. We're going to be doing Suddenly Seymour on Thursday. So you're going to have to come by. And I was like, okay. So uncomfortably, instead of just like relaxing through their show and having fun and then getting changed, Casey was kind enough to meet me ahead of time. And Ray also did my hair and Casey's hair. And got ready and literally made my grand entrance about 20 minutes into their show, where all of a sudden Henry changed the key into Suddenly Seymour. And I had a girl singing to me, and I'm just standing there as Audrey 2, like flowy, and it was hysterical. But
It was great.
Look at this!
Hey,
Hi! How long have you been sitting there, Ray?
Just a minute. I pulled in. I'm still in my car. I'm in front of the salon.
We love you.
Do we wanna
Ray, we love you.
see- I love
Um,
it.
The
Hold
chocolate
on.
golden
I'm
sun.
going to show you the
Ray,
name
I'm
of my
golden
salon.
sun. My
Okay.
golden
I'm gonna
sun.
show
You can see him.
I'm going to show you the name of the salon. Hold on. Can you see me?
Yes.
No, you're in the
Can you
dark.
see?
Now we
There's-
can send.
It says
Something
Kings
in
and Queens.
Oh, nice.
That's my salon.
Kings and Queens. Nice.
Yes, there's
Ooh.
the salon. Let me tell you, Ray is a master. He and I sat through a consultation to make sure I had good hair for my Audrey too. And he's like, "How about this? How about this?" And I was like, "How are you so fast?" And then he did it, and everyone's like, "Your hair looks so pretty." I was like, "I have my own personal hairstylist on board."
Or an
Oh,
old
yeah,
bitch,
that's
one or the other. I'm
so-
surprised you guys are still on here.
We started a little bit late to make some room for you.
Okay, let me get in the salon so I can actually turn the lights on
You're fine.
so you can see
You're
me.
fine. Casey and I were just talking about my entrance into Ethan and Henry's performance. But yeah, so this
I
poor
didn't
girl
get
is
to
talking-
see that, so tell me about it.
So I walked in full glory, essentially, and then they made this poor girl sing Suddenly Seymour to me. So there was no Audrey. So look
Now
at you,
you My
handsome.
beautiful face.
There you are.
Hey.
Hey!
So
Hey Ray,
I
what's up?
was both Audrey 2 and Audrey. So she's singing, and I'm like singing as Audrey and then as the plant. And she was trying so hard to not laugh, but it was the funniest thing ever. But people, when I walked up, so first off, I take cosplay to another level. I need to be extreme. Clearly, covered in blood is extreme enough. But I love that people would like clap when I walked in, and I'm like, please don't. At one point, Ray and Zev were like, you must soak this up. You must love this. I was like, I love meeting new people, but I'm like, who are all these people? You like me? You really like me? It's just so weird.
And I became, I basically was Heather's bitch.
Maybe I think we all were Heather's bitch.
specifically in that costume because because she was wearing platforms that were like this tall, and even with the platform, she was still stepping on her like little cape thing. So I ended up just like
trying to walk with an inner ear infection and a concussion, and you're walking 5 feet. You're like, I'm taking my damn shoes off. But I made my Cleopatra cape, and it was long. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think about it. I either have to have my hands like up above my head the entire time, or I'm going to step on the cape or someone else's. So I was like, can you hold this for a second, Casey? And then she held it the rest of the night.
My God.
No,
you were like Casey was like the people that hold the Princess Di's
the tree.
Are people at the wedding that holds the gown in the back.
Right. Well, I think my funniest thing was, so besides that, making sure I didn't die, and her and Ray trying to navigate me, and Zeb too, like trying to like, okay, you have to duck sideways.
Turn sideways.
It was like breaking into a bank. Like, okay, where do I go? Where's the laser grid? But I think it was either Sebastian. I think at both times it was, one was Sebastian, one was Zeb, and then one was Ray. They had a drink for me, and because I couldn't pick up a cup, so everybody was holding the straw on the straw.
We had to put it.
Feed me.
Yes, it was. But like, here's the thing: I didn't expect any of you guys to do that. I went into this going, I'm gonna do this all like on myself. Like, if I see friends, great. And then I was like, I have this entire group of people who, like, without me really asking anything, they're like, Heather, here you go. Here's this, and I'm like Zav taking all those pictures. I wouldn't have had any pictures on stage, to be honest. Yeah, so thank you. Like, we didn't even get a group photo of us, and I'm so sad. I don't even get a selfie.
I am too. I realized that.
Huh?
I realized that we didn't have one, and yeah, that just sucks.
I'm so sad.
Yep.
Well, you guys weren't at Last Supper, otherwise we would have.
I was there.
That's true.
And it wouldn't have been the same without Sebastian there.
With the kids. I was with the youngins that night.
Mm-hmm.
We could have just no. You were that was not the night you were with Michelle. That was the last night.
I was with Michelle, but I was also with Nico and.
Gotcha. That's right. You closed down the bar at 3 a.m.
Nico, Brady, Michelle, and Alexander.
So Ray, you're fashionably late, which is what we expected. So where did you just come from?
I was downtown. They were announcing our season. So they
announced downtown.
I have the Broadway season. And I'm going to do some of the dance season this year.
Okay.
Ooh.
So in Pittsburgh, what's the theater?
Yeah.
And this is a theater you sit on the board for, or no?
Yeah. No, I sit on the board for Mercyhurst College, which is
very nice.
I'm on the direct circle. Are you impressed?
Very impressed.
Yes, absolutely.
So what are the productions you guys are going to have for your
season? We are going to Waters for Elephants, Wicked for 5 weeks.
Oh.
Shocked.
Okay.
Les Mis, Chicago.
Wow.
6. Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
Beautiful Noise.
Nice.
I would see every single one of those. I saw Beautiful Noise on Broadway.
I saw it.
Yeah, we might have to catch a show.
Austin.
You missed something.
They announced our season while I was on the ship. But at Dr. Phillips Center in Orlando, they're going to have The Wiz, Water for Elephants, which is now non-union. So it's like a whole other slew of, like, they essentially franchise it out. The Outsiders here in Orlando, holy crap, love the show. And Juliet, obviously. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Hell's Kitchen, Kimberly Akimbo, The Notebook, Hades Town, and 6.
I loved Kimberly when it just was here last week.
Since we're announcing what our local theaters are doing. So in Las Vegas, we've got Some Like It Hot, A Beautiful Noise, Suffs, Stereophonic, The Lion King, Monty Python Spamalot, The Notebook, Shucked, and Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, nice. You guys have some good stuff. That's some really good stuff.
Nobody told me there would be homework. I have no idea what.
Well, what's the next show everybody's planning on seeing on Broadway or off Broadway?
Oh wow!
I really want to see
Austin's going to do
Operation
Beauty and the Beast. Austin's going to do Beauty and the Beast, The Outsiders, Mamma Mia, Sound of Music, Great Gatsby. What? Oh, and Juliet, Wiz, and Kimberly Akima.
Okay, so it sounds like mine.
Similar.
So I know when I go up, so with Facings, again, we're doing that next podcast episode, Facings next Tuesday. I'm going up the week of the 24th. So my goal is to hit like Floyd Collins, Just in Time, Smash, Boop. I want to get those in before Tony's. And then April 28th, which is a Monday night, I am going to the reunion concert for Swept Away.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I'm very excited. We had Matt DeAndres on the show, 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about that. So
Be in New York May 10th and 11th.
What'd you say?
I'm going to be in New York May 10th and 11th.
I know you're going to be right after me. I'm so sad.
I only have one thing booked now, and it's because my friends in the cast now I'm seeing Chicago. Not that I want Chicago, but she's Mama Morton in it right now.
Oh, nice.
She was just in Hell's Kitchen. You may know the name Rima Webb.
Right, you were telling me about that. That's awesome.
She's Morton in Chicago, so I have to see her. That would be great.
Of course you do.
I also realized I'm probably going to have to put Cabaret on my list since it's Orville Peck and Eva.
Yeah.
So I've already spent my money.
Eva or Cabaret this Eva, Jessica Vosk, Jeremy Jordan. They were announced tonight too. Isaac Murazotti, or however you say.
Okay.
And there's a fifth person. I can't remember the fifth person.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
I can't remember.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. I see Patty Stone in Erie on Thursday.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah, I have an issue.
You don't have an issue. That's great.
I have to work so much. I'm expensive. I'm very expensive.
I know. I have to find my way to Pittsburgh for you to do my hair. Like,
He'll be sending you the bill for the cruise. It's okay.
Oh, I am sure.
I already have to send her one for me too.
You better get
Oh my god!
Just kidding.
Wait, does that mean I could send you guys a bill for an appearance fee?
Oh, I want to take this moment to say
for marketing.
Yes, I want to say thank you for y'all were just awesome. I was almost in tears when y'all kind of came to my rescue and made sure I was okay after the fall.
Oh my god! No, I think that didn't even cross our minds till like we're not going to stay here. We're going to go take care of one of our own.
Of course.
Thank you.
I told them that I thought you had just misstepped, but I was going to hang with you for a little while, make sure.
Yeah, Sebastian was, yeah, and I appreciate it. I'm bounced. Like I tell people, I'm bouncy.
Baxter, break your fall.
No, I spent years in doing theater and learning how to fall. It was one of the biggest things. I took a lot of pratfalls on stage, and just learning how to land was the most important thing I ever learned.
Of course, especially on a moving cruise ship. It was pretty wobbly. I will say that for sure. I still feel a little sway, and that's also probably the concussion and the. I'm falling apart. Hopefully, by next cruise, I feel better. Ray has disappeared. There he is. He's back. But and I know we've been talking for so long. We've been talking an hour and 20 minutes, and it feels like we talked for 2 seconds. This is not the last time that this group is going to be on the show. Just so you guys know, everybody is here. I've also instilled a monthly meetup that we're all going to sit on Zoom and hang out and play games and just miss each other dearly.
Cool.
Miss you guys already, but thank you guys. I will take this time to make a public announcement of how wonderful you guys are, and I'm so truly fortunate to have you guys in my life, because really, like, my life is in such a different state from the cruise last year to now, and I just can't say thank you enough for making me feel just welcoming me for just who I am. I don't think any of us have like a facade up. We're just able to truly be ourselves. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
all
you.
of you. That's
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
all of you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
No,
never
This is fun.
done it.
I will be on here anytime you need me to.
Anytime you guys want, open invitation. Ray will do everybody's hair from Pittsburgh. Next time, Robert will do a full interview with Baxter. I'd love to hear what he has to say.
Okay, I'll make sure that he's here. I mean, I got to check his schedule, but
But please,
that'll be good.
I think
He's a-
everyone's
he's a
curious
busy
what his
dog.
Divas outfit actually looked like.
I'll try and find it and then make sure he's wearing it on the next shot.
Can't wait. Well, I love you guys. Thank you
Love
for
you.
joining on the Broadway Fan Club podcast. You guys hang out before I end live, but just hang out in the studio for a second. Thank you to everybody for just kind of sitting in and hanging out with us and letting us talk about some of our favorite moments. There are so many more left. You will not see these guys just this one time. There's going to be so many other opportunities. Please go and support your local theater. It's so important, but also go support your local theater friends. We all need it. It's not all about drama on the stage. There's drama off the stage, but we try to really make sure that we take care of each other, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Love you guys. Don't forget to tune in next Tuesday for a special edition of Facings Off-Broadway musical next Tuesday at 8 p.m. See you guys then. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Ciao for now.
Bye.